Hello my dear sewing friends, it's Alisa here, and today once again we are going to be making beautiful clothes, of course, from fabric scraps. Now let me show you this gorgeous print that we're going to be working with today. Just look at that. It screams happy, it screams spring and summer to me, and you know, I truly hope that this entire series about making your beautiful clothes from fabric scraps is of course not only going to give you a ton of ideas and inspiration, but also that healthy dose of encouragement, that really good healthy push to really see your fabric scraps in a different light, to put them into a good use, and above all of that, to really discover that creativity that I know is bubbling inside of you. So before we begin, let me tell you a little bit about this fabric. Now, usually I would be working with much smaller fabric scraps than this one. This definitely feels more like a fabric remnant, and I have two of these, each one about ½ a yard wide, and one of them is actually damaged. So let me show you. It's right in the middle of this fabric piece. So sometime last year, I was actually placing an online order for Mood, and as some of you might know, I don't buy fabric that often at all. So this was definitely special. And there were a couple of fabrics that I've been eyeing for a little while. So once they went on sale, I was like, okay, let's do this. And the stretch cotton was one of them. So I thought, I love the abstract print, I love the colors. It would make a really great lightweight jacket for like spring and summer. So I placed my order, and about a day, maybe a day and a half later, I get an email. We are so incredibly sorry, but we don't have a full yard of the stretch cotton that you ordered. Instead, we have two cuts of ½ a yard each, but one of them has a stain that goes from top to bottom. So if you would like to purchase that, we would give you a discount. I don't remember exactly how much it was right now. I think maybe 25, maybe 50%. So I thought, surely the stain is going to wash out, and surely I'll be able to figure out how to make a jacket out of these two cuts. So the order comes in, and right away, of course, the first thing that I do anytime I get some fabric, I put it through the laundry, and once the laundry is done, I came to find out that the stain actually didn't wash out. It was, you know, one of those moments when you take a gamble and it doesn't pay off, and I was trying to be positive and it didn't turn out the way I was hoping for it, but at the end of the day, I'm trying to look on the positive side, and the positive side is that I still love the print, the fabric is great. Yes, of course, I'm working with some limitations over here, but I usually do when I'm working with fabric scraps anyway, so this all kind of falls into the same category for me, and I think if I'm really think about it, I will be able to squeeze out a sweet little jacket out of this. That's my hope. That's my hope. But before we start, I really have to think through about the design of the jacket, and most importantly, what kind of design of a jacket can this amount of fabric be suitable for. I really want to have a clearer idea of what I'm working here with, and yes, look at that. A full-length sleeve is definitely out of question. I might need to combine it from different pieces or incorporate a design into that, which might be okay because the print is so busy, but it also has a chance of looking really awkward, and that is definitely something that I don't want. Let's take a look at the bodice piece, and yes, here the full-length bodice is also out of the question, but it's a little bit easier when you're working with bodice because I can always add a band on the bottom, which is what you often see in jackets anyway, so I'm not really worried about that. I am definitely more worried about the sleeve. Alrighty, so this is what I have in mind. A crop jacket with a little bust dart, with a Peter Pan collar, and a flared cuff. So the next step from here is to make a quick muslin, so that way not only I can visualize it better, but also plan the fabric. Now as a pattern base, I'm using my woven bodice block with a dart, and if you need one, there is a full step-by-step tutorial on my channel on how to draft it. And then of course I'm making adjustments in order to turn this pattern block into a jacket. Now after it's done, I'm gonna cut my muslin, and here I just have to quickly baste it together, and then we can take a look and see what we have. So I think I'm happy with how this is coming along. There are, however, a couple of things that I still have to figure out, like for example, the cuff on a sleeve, but we will get to that. This is one of those minor details. Everything else, I think I have my finger on the pulse. I do have to figure out how am I going to divide the front pattern piece, because remember, I don't have enough of the length of the fabric in order to cut it all as one. But I'm going to use that division to insert a pocket flap and a pocket. But I have to figure out what am I going to do about the back pattern piece, because there I have the same situation. And I'm thinking that for the upper part of the front pattern piece, I'm actually going to swing the shoulder seam to the back, so that way I can cut it all as one and therefore decrease the height of the back pattern piece. So that way I can cut that. I know it's a lot of, a lot of puzzle piece work, but I think we can make it work. So the next step after this is to cut the fabric. And now that I'm looking at the print, I'm also trying to be aware of the placement of the flowers. I realize that the print is quite busy, so I don't think that I have to worry about it too much, but there's always that chance that you don't really think about it, but once it's done, you have like a big flower over here, big flower over here, and then you can't unsee it. Now here's something interesting. Usually when I work on projects like these, when I'm making something out of fabric scraps or fabric remnants, I start by cutting only the big pattern pieces first, because everything else can wait, and everything else I can cut from the little remnants that are left over. And there I can usually compromise a little bit. But for the big pattern pieces, you have to fit them in. After the big pattern pieces are cut, I usually start the assembly. And in garments like these, pockets usually go first. So here you see me assemble the pocket flap and the pocket bag. Okay. I'm just about to have a heart attack over here. Okay, let me explain what's going on. So I was working on a pocket. It's coming together real nice on the positive side, trying to look on the bright side over here. I love the space over here, plenty to put all of your belongings. So I put it on myself to just kind of see how it looks, and then I put the other side on myself, the side that I haven't completed yet, thank goodness. And you know what I realized? While I was trying to cut the bottom half so that way the colors over here would match somewhat, so that way it doesn't, draw the eye to the slash over here, I completely ignored the print on the top part of it. So now I have this, and it looks like I was trying to cut them symmetrical, but I completely failed, and it really bothers me. It really bothers me. And I know that if I don't fix it, I won't really wear the jacket. I just know myself. But I also don't have enough fabric at all to cut any of these pieces fresh, because I don't have enough fabric. So I have to figure out what to do about it, because if I don't, it's basically a no-go. Now here I am back to the square one, unpicking pretty much everything that I have just done. How about that for a twist of events, right? And after that, it really is going to be a make it or break it moment, because I truly have to figure out how to recut those front pattern pieces. I think I have it figured out. I think. I don't want to say anything beforehand because at this point, we just don't know. We just don't know. We have to put it together and see how it actually looks. But I do think that I have a plan. And now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, why didn't I do this in the first place? Like, why didn't I do this in the first place before I made my silly mistake? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there's something in the air. This week definitely has been very hectic. We had school canceled pretty much the whole week except one day due to snow and inclement weather. So we've been trying to juggle everything, the family, the work, all of the extra stuff. And anyway, we're making it work. So basically, the plan is to separate the front pattern pieces because I just don't have enough fabric to cut them all as one. So I'm going to transfer the dart into the middle, and then I'm going to make it into a half of the princess seam. And then also that shoulder line that I wanted to swing to the back, well, I can no longer do that because again, I don't have large enough pieces of fabric to cut that. So I will need to separate that as well. So here you see the full spread of all of the pattern pieces that one of the fronts is going to consist of. And I know it's a lot of piecework, but we just have to put it together and see what we have. The moment of truth. I think I have figured it out. So here are the front pattern pieces. I love it so far. I'm really happy that this actually came together despite my brain fart. The only difficulty as of this very moment is that I still have the collar, the facing, and the cuffs to cut, which is going to get real interesting here because I have only scrap fabric left. Yeah, so it's very possible that one of those design elements will need to go, and I'm not willing to give up any of those, so we'll see where it takes us. From here, with lots of steaming, pressing, interlining, and interfacing, and of course sewing, I finally had the main body made, the front and the back. Now, this is the view from the outside, and this is the view from the inside. After that, I managed to find big enough scraps to cut and put together a collar. Next step is the sleeves with loads more of sewing, steaming, pressing, and also throw in some hand sewing in here while inserting the sleeve head. So at this point, the final stage is to construct the lining and then of course insert it. Now the only problem is that I still have to cut it out, and this is all I have left fabric wise. So let's try to make this happen. Now, if there's something that I have learned from working with fabric scraps is that it can be really creative and super rewarding, among other things, of course. But, and here's a big but, you have to be flexible. So in the case of this particular jacket, it means constructing the bottom facing from 4 different pieces. Now for the lining, I chose this beautiful orange rayon, and I'm going to bag it out by leaving a seam open at the center back. Now I know that when we're watching a video, and even for me when I'm editing a video, it seems like everything is coming together so quickly, like bam, 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 and it's done so quick and easy, effortlessly. Although, effortless is probably not the right word to describe this particular project, but you know what I'm saying. It seems like it comes together so much quicker than it actually does in real life. And this particular jacket, although not a ton of bells and whistles, still took over the course of about 5 days to put together, because you also have to add on that time of braining over your steps and strategizing the fabric and all of that. And by the way, if you are a member of this channel, first of all, thank you so much for your support, and tune in into your members perks tomorrow, because tomorrow there's going to be a deep dive into this jacket where I will explain my decisions about the inner workings of the jacket, choices of the fabric, choices of the construction, little things to note here and there and why I did those. So definitely tune in tomorrow. And if you are not a member of this channel but you are wondering what it is all about, I will leave the link for you to check out in the description of this video. All right, are you ready for the final result? Let's take a look. All right, drum roll. What's your verdict? Because I definitely have mine, and I'm going to say that all of the things that I went through with this jacket were not in vain. I really love the fact that you can style it up, you can style it down, and you know what? I actually think that I like it the most with just a simple graphic t-shirt and a pair of jeans and a pair of Keds. I think that would be just fantastic, because the jacket is the star of the show here. As I mentioned many times before, the print is just so fun. It's, you know, it's beautiful, and I think that just kind of brings you that juice of life. So I think I really like it. And this jacket is meant to be closed. I mean, you can wear it open, as I usually do with my jackets, or you can close it. But, you know, initially I thought that I'm going to add the golden snaps, but now I'm actually not sure about that. So that's the reason I haven't added anything to it just yet. I might add just a tiny little shoulder pad over here just for a little bit of structure, but other than that, it's done. Well, now I truly hope that you're all fired up about your fabric scraps and that you're too going to make something beautiful. If you need more inspiration, here are more made from scraps videos. Definitely check them out. And thank you so much for sticking with me throughout this entire journey. I truly appreciate you. And until next time, happy, thoughtful sewing. I'll see you soon. Bye!